So today, this chat is about my story, and I think that it's relevant just in that it should. How did I come across this passion for uh, Israel, the Jewish people, and specifically from the very beginning, almost it was a passion against the things that we Christians had believed that led us to such horrific behavior towards the Jews. So I'll start. It was 9 years ago, 10 years ago. It was 2015, and I had a dream. And dreams are the way that God has always talked to me predominantly. And so in the dream, a man walks up to me and he hands me a little scrap piece of paper. So I unrolled the scrap piece of paper, and on it was written Deuteronomy 3:3 through 5 or 6, I think. So the next morning, of course, I got up and I looked it up, and it was this pretty obscure passage about the Israel defeating Og and the king of Bashan and the whole territory, defeating them. And Og was the last of the Rephilim. He was a giant, and just what, God, what? So I want to say that this whole idea of these chats is to talk to people who might have been like me 10 years ago before I had this dream, and really, I know Israel's in the Bible. I know Israel is this piece of land that God promised Abraham, and really didn't know anything beyond that, like zero. Had never really given it any thought. Had never really heard any teaching, so I had no, I was ambivalent, no feeling one way or the other. So anyway, I started on this quest to understand this Bible verse. Who is Og? What is Bashan? Who is Israel? What are giants? This whole stream of search for what the truth is. And so I started consuming, 4 or 5 books a month about these related topics, but honed in on, specifically, my heart was drawn to the things that we believed that led us to the anti-Semitic 2,000 years we spent, right? Well, especially leading up to Hitler, which, as it turns out, didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened as a culmination, a great crescendo to the things that we had believed for the many years leading up to that, 1,700 years leading up to that. So what was in my heart, and what is in my heart now, is to talk to people just like me who there's no ill will towards Israel. There's no great passion either, and there's no depth there's no context for who she is and how God sees her. And so that kind of started my journey, and I read everything I could find to read, and that took me to some interesting places, and tangential to wanting to understand Israel was this quest to understand Genesis 6 and what the heck are giants, and why is that relevant. And that took me to the teachings of a guy named Michael Heisner, and he's, the books that he wrote, Reversing Mount Hermon and The Unseen Realm. Those were interesting. I'd never even knew that Genesis 6 was in the Bible until I started this journey. And so as time went on, I ran out of books that I could find to read, and I wanted more. And so I signed up for Biola University offers a graduate degree. It's a Master's of Divinity, but it's specifically tailored to understanding the Judaism, Christianity in the context of Judaism. And so I went to grad school. I didn't finish because COVID came, so that's still on the table to finish, but I got a couple of years before COVID came. And that was just rich. And for a while there, I was like the Amway lady that nobody wanted to run into, because if you did, you were going to have to talk about Israel. And when I got to grad school, these kids had the same sort of passion that I had developed. And one friend said, well, it's like being born again, is awakening to this passion with Israel. And I don't think it's like that for everybody, but it's like that for some people. And so that's the story of how I got connected to and passionate about God's heart for Israel.